just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to another episode of the Believe in FCS Football podcast. I'm Joe DeLeone, joined by my former teammate, former roommate at the University of Rhode Island, Mr. Sean Anderson, who is in a very sweaty state today. Sean, how was pickleball?
It was okay. I mean, for the first time playing, I hate when you do that, by the way. That's what you do before you intro the show. And I understand, like, it's good for broadcasting, but you go, and then you start.
Okay, but I cut that out. You don't need to.
I don't need that cut out. I think the people would enjoy seeing.
You're a jackass. You're a jackass. So I'm trying to have enough air in my lungs to have a good intro. Do you want me to just start? Welcome to the FCS Football podcast.
Why do you have to do that?
Well, I don't know. It's just part of. I've developed a bad habit. It's kind of like when you're power cleaning and you happen to develop the habit of like making a noise when you do it. I think it's like kind of the same shit.
What noise do you make when you power clean?
I don't know. I haven't power cleaned.
Let me just like give.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, now Joe doesn't want to do noises or voices. Joe used to do a great Harry Carey on the show, and now he doesn't do it anymore. Joe doesn't do any of his fun stuff. He just talks about analytics.
I don't talk about analytics.
I hate Joe.
Fuck PFF.
They're not analytics anymore, dude. Unfortunately not.
No,
I don't
clickbait.
consider them analytics. It's clickbait. They are not analytics anymore. And nobody would disagree with me because if you follow them on Twitter, they just ask the questions for the mouth breathers to answer. You are the analytics people. Tell us who's the best wide receiver in the NFC West. You tell us.
My problem with PFF, though, that they're doing now is they post these rankings that are total bullshit. Like, they don't make any sense. There's absolutely nothing. But they don't provide the context that the rankings are a very specific stat that is an article that they posted but did not link on the post. So then that was the thing that happened with that with those coaching rankings that everyone was freaking the hell out about. That was an intern who made those rankings. That kid's a clown. I've seen his stuff on Twitter all the time. But he was like, oh, well, everyone got upset over my rankings, but it was very specific to defensive aggressiveness play calling and that metric, but we didn't include that in the graphic. So now I get to go on Good Morning Football. Fucking dork.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Why would you not? The only reason anybody liked them was because there were nerds that couldn't play football and didn't play football. And they said, here's some numbers to make me feel better about playing football and analyzing football. Here's a job that I can do. And now they don't even tweet the numbers anymore. Like people that use them as validation. It's fine. It's fine. They do their due diligence and they try to provide context to an argument, but you don't have that anymore. It's just, which stadium is the best food? Comment below. Fuck you.
Sean, I have a way to take back analytics. What if we started? What if through the Hack City accounts? What if we started doing our own analytics, but we didn't do any math, any film analysis? Like, we just put a bunch of numbers.
Dalvin Cook, 92% versus loaded box. 92% what? Success rate, failure rate.
Well, so we do that, but you just give them grades. Like, the grades are totally arbitrary. It's like a 48 for Patrick Mahomes. On what scale? Josh Allen has a 203. It's like, where are we getting those numbers
exactly.
from?
Tyler Huntley, 0.01. What is it? What does that mean? I know he was a backup, but what does that mean?
I think that's a great idea. I really think that's a great idea.
We have to combat the stupidity with stupidity, right? God. No logic ever works on the internet.
Yeah, basically. But speaking of stupidity, we have another arbitrary list for you today. That being tight ends. We're talking tight ends today. Got some good responses. I really like the list of guys that everybody sent in. Usually we just get a lot of just random names in there, guys. Some of them I haven't heard of before, but I think we were pretty spot on this week with the comments on the list. Forgot to tag you in that again.
Did you put a J in random just now?
I don't think I did.
There was a soft J in random where the N and the D connect.
Quit vocab watching me, man. Quit pronunciation watching me.
Then
dude.
tag me on Twitter then.
Okay.
And it'll be a friendlier show for you.
I will tag you on Twitter.
It got good run though. What was it, like 77 likes or something? More than that.
That was a different tweet. This one, the one asking for people to submit names.
Oh, that was the
that
South
one got
State one you had.
Yeah, that one got like 20. But so I tweeted the other day when I was looking at the watch list for the NFL for tight ends. there are a lot of freaking guys on this list, and it feels really weird separating them into categories, but we did that arbitrarily as one might expect. Before we get to that, though, Sean, betting, I'm on a hot streak right now. I hit the over and the Lightning last game. I've been killing it with my hockey bets.
You want to do the read then?
No,
because my ice cold streak continues.
How cold is it? How cold could it possibly be?
Ice cold, literally.
More than 5?
What do you mean 5 losses in a row?
Yeah,
easily.
10?
No, I think it's about 7 or 8 where I'm just like, oh, that didn't hit. That didn't work. Why do you think you know sports? I don't. You do. You, the listener, you know it. Eventually I'll know them again. Right now I don't. Right. Joe Girardi gets, I hate to keep on bringing it back to the Phillies. Joe Girardi gets sacked. And then Rob Thompson decides, I'm going to manage the hell out of this ball club. And the bullpen's going to start showing up. Kyle Schwarber's going to start hitting 6 bombs in 8 games. Go screw. Whatever. This is about BetOnline. And if you're on a hot streak, I encourage you to go to BetOnline because they continue to be the #1 source for all of your betting and sports information. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus. All the sports books online are doing this. Cash in on another. BetOnline.ag. 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV when you do it. You won't get squat unless you use BLEAV code BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Thank you, Sean. That was fantastic.
Pickleball was fun.
Yeah, it sounds like you got all the stress out during pickleball, one way or another.
It's fun, but it's not like getting the stress out on a heavy ass fucking. Sorry, pardon all the swearing.
Wow, we're going hard on swearing today.
You started it today.
Sorry.
But the like a good legs pump, it's nothing like you're just dead after that. You said, okay, if I had any demons in me before, they're gone now.
The FCS purists are going to be really upset that we're cursing, but
we're wound up.
Yeah, we're wound up today because we've got a lot of really.
And maybe there's some emails that I'm reading before the show that aren't very encouraging. So maybe there's a little bit of pent up.
That's one way to get fired up. But I'm fired up to talk about these dudes, these tight ends, Sean.
Sure.
Let's go to the elite tier first. And I don't think we're ever going to have this many elite tier guys. Not ever, but for the rest of this preview series, I don't think any other position group is going to have this many elite players. So we've got very deep. So these are all guys, except for one, that received draftable grades. Actually, wait, that's not true. Ignore that statement. These are the best, highest draftable grades that we have for tight ends in this class. Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State, McCallan Castles from UC Davis.
Great name.
Who McCallan Castles, I know, great tight end name. He had the highest grade coming into the season. I believe it was that equates to his grade of being a third round pick, which is fantastic. Marshel Martin from Sac State, Noah Grindorff from North Dakota State, and then Thomas Greeny from Albany.
Grindorff, not a great name.
No, but I will say he fits for our listeners of the NFL Draft Prospects Pod. He fits my category of big boys. That is a big dude. My man.
I got a comp. Don't worry.
Wait, let's get to him. Let's get to him first. We already started talking about him, and then we'll get to Tucker Kraft, who I've got some very nice things to say about him. 6'6", 266, dude. That is an extension of the freaking offensive line. That is a massive human being. But you,
dude,
that is the weirdest cop. Like that's just the most.
Hey, you want to know why it's not weird? Lee Smith, 6'6", 265.
I hate
you want to know what?
Accurate.
What'd you say?
I hate that.
I didn't even look it up. I knew it on sight. I swear, hand to Jesus, Joe. Hand to Jesus. I saw him. I said, "That's Lee Smith. That's who it is." Lee Smith, 11-year vet in the NFL. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Right?
Right.
Do I get credit for this one?
No, you get credit for it. I think it's just such a random pull because like Lee Smith was the most pedestrian tight end that just was always there.
11-year career, man. The Moose. Let him block. Let him catch some touchdowns. That's what Grindorff does. He blocks. He gets open because the defense forgets about him, and he catches touchdowns.
He is a true North Dakota State tight end.
God.
He fits
to the T.
He fits so perfectly. My man is again like a dump truck. He's a tackle. He's an extra tackle. What, you don't like the dump truck comp?
Dump truck.
So I used the dump truck comp on the Draft Prospect show today when I was talking about Christian Mahogany, who's 6'3".
Are you recycling comps here? That's got to be a violation. As the mayor of Draft Twitter, recycling comps is not allowed.
I have two new phrases. Let me peel back the curtain a little bit. Every wannabe draft analyst or draft analyst in general there's mostly the wannabes are so enticed to either make up words or use really complicated words in describing these guys. I'm doing the opposite. I am taking back football terminology from a real football player's mindset. I am picking the stupidest words to describe players as possible. So any guy that's big for his position, I'm calling him a big boy. That's with a BOI. That's what I'm calling him. And then if somebody's just a big downhill blocker,
two big boys. There's a radio host big boy, and there's the legendary American rapper big boy.
No. It's a categorization of player. It's not a nickname.
You cannot
for
call
one
him
specific player.
The MI crooked letter.
I'm not calling him big boy. I'm saying he is a big boy.
Than a polar bear's toenails, I tell you what.
Shut the hell up. But anyone who's a really good downhill blocker, like linearly,
the MI crooked letter. You can't call him big boy.
I'm calling him big
boy.
I'm not calling him big boy. He is a big boy. He fits the categorization
BOY
of big boy. Hashtag big boys. He is one of the big boys under my categorization.
You're basically calling John Boys. That's what you're saying.
No,
BOYS, not BOIS.
Why can't I do BOIS?
Why don't you just say, hey,
that's
big boy. Why don't you
that's a big boy?
Hey,
that's what I want.
Georgia's mascot is a cool doggo. Why don't you say that?
Okay, because that's corny. Because he's a
BOI is getting a little corny.
Fine.
Just from my ear to the streets. I'm not hating. I'm just letting you know. From my ear to the streets.
From one big
we're
boy
getting
to
a little
another.
old for BOI.
From one big boy to another, what am I allowed to say?
Big boy.
Okay. All right. We'll do the Y.
I think we're getting a little old.
You're right
for BOI.
You're right. And I should have consulted you first because you are a big boy. So
yes.
Besides the point, Grindorff, great downhill blocker. I want to talk about Tucker Kraft though.
Sure. You're in love with this guy. I
am.
You have not talked about anybody else more this offseason than Tucker Kraft.
Every time
you have at it. You got it.
Every time I tweet about him or subtweet about him, he likes my tweet. Even when I don't directly reference his name, he always likes my tweet. So Tucker, I appreciate that. He came on the NFL Draft
Great interview.
Show.
Yeah.
Great interview. Justifiably, this is a kid who I believe is a redshirt sophomore or was a redshirt sophomore. He has eligibility remaining. He is one of the few guys on this list that isn't going to have to declare and be a part of the draft class. He is really freaking good to be in that conversation. Last season, he had 780 yards and 6 touchdowns, and I think that production is only going to go up with Gronowski back, and then with Yankee and maybe added elements in the run game with Isaiah Davis. That offense is going to be so explosive. It also helps that we're going to talk about in a second. He has Zach Heinz, who is his partner in crime. But Tucker Kraft is really freaking good to be considered a highly draftable kid. This is somebody who's good enough to go late day 2, and I don't think that is a reach. He is the next Dallas Goedert from South Dakota State.
Have they gotten an NIL deal yet for Heinz and Kraft?
I don't know how that they haven't.
They keep on pushing for it, and it's embarrassing that they haven't yet.
If I am
not because
Hunt's
they're
ketchup,
I'm not saying they're
no, but I'm just saying if I'm Hunt's ketchup, I am coming in and I am ruining that.
Hunt's? Oh, you're saying that'd be yeah. I haven't seen a Hunt's ketchup bottle in I don't know how long.
But you'd immediately dominate that, or not dominate, but it'd be such a troll job.
Yes, it definitely would be. And then I'm glad you saved Tucker Kraft for second, so people wouldn't think that this is strictly a South Dakota State podcast because we visited there, and then there's been a lot of talk about their players. They got good players, so I know that sometimes it feels like we catch a little bit of heat. We're not a South Dakota State podcast. They just have a lot of good players. They've become a factory.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. But
which elite tier tight end do you want to talk about next?
So I want to get some thoughts really quickly on McCallan Castles first. Like you made a really good note here, just better athlete than everyone else. He's playing it. He's coming from UC Davis, a team that has been feels like a little bit inconsistent lately since the Alex Mayer days.
see here.
What was the name of that quarterback? Jake Mayer. Jake Mayer days. They used to be really good, and it seems like they've been a little inconsistent lately. But McCallan Castles, as we said, football name, great football name. You seem to be a fan of what you saw on tape.
Yeah, they were 8-4 last year, and they were one of those sneaky 8-4 teams that were like, "Oh, what the hell is happening in the Big Sky?" And then, look, Castles is just a better athlete than everybody that he's going up against. He's bigger than the linebackers. He's bigger than the safeties. He's as fast as the linebackers, not as fast as the safeties, but his arms are longer than anybody else's on the field. Maybe you have a stand-up D end. You know, who is the D end from Albany? Malachi something. That would stand up off the edge, very thin. That's kind of you need to have like a Montez Sweat type guy on him who is.
You're not talking about Jared Verse, are you?
No. I'm trying to remember
Florida
who State. That's too.
Oh wait! I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
I should remember his name because I trained with him. But continue.
But unless you have somebody that is as freaky an athlete on the defensive end, moving backwards, you're not going to be able to cover this guy. He also makes up for his quarterback's mistakes. And his quarterback knows that he can get a couple more inches on the ball throwing to Castles, which he can because Castles has phenomenal hands also. Really, really like this guy. Mm-hmm. It's just unfair right now. In the next level, we'll see how it happens because tight ends at the next level, they have to just be grown men. That's what they have to be. And right now, Castles looks like he's playing against high schoolers. And that's not a disrespect. It's just what he looks like. It's what he puts on the field, the catches that he makes. Just the way that he controls the ball and controls the field, it doesn't look fair.
The other guy who was graded really highly was Thomas Greeny from Albany, 6'5", 252. He's coming from a program, I think under Cuffler is going back. Wow, we are really out on the loop on some of these guys, which we should be. I know he entered the portal. Yeah, he's still in the portal. I don't think he has declared where he's going. But that offense has been pretty good. And I think Greeny is an interesting, underrated name to be aware of, who maybe wasn't been as necessarily as statistically dominant as some of these other guys on the list, but has that frame that you're looking for in an NFL tight end, which is hard to find at the FCS level. What?
Jeff Undercuffler Jr.?
Yeah.
Quarterback, Akron.
He's transferring to Akron?
Yes.
Talk about a stupid move.
At Jacob 13. It looks like he got an offer from Idaho.
That is a terrible move on his part. Oh, my God. Akron sucks. Akron is the worst. It is literally one of the worst football programs in FBS. Like bottom 5. UMass, yeah. Akron, Bowling Green, UConn.
It looks like he committed on the 22nd of May.
Thoughts on Greeny?
Greeny, he's an upright runner. He's kind of got that Castles bit where the FCS is tough because there's a lot of really good, tough linebackers that know how to play, that are fast, but they're short. They are 6 feet tall. They are 5'11". We do a show with a guy who is a fantastic linebacker.
5'9".
He doesn't have the height. I think he's as tall as you, if not taller.
He is shorter than me. Don't do this. I'm not 5'9".
I'm not doing it. I'm not saying you're 5'9". I'm not saying you're 5'9". I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Don't make that face. Ungrit your teeth.
I might be able to see Jake fire in a couple of weeks.
What?
I'll tell you off air.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you off air. I might be in his neck of the woods.
Am I blowing up? Am I doing up it?
I'll tell you. No, you're not blowing anything up. I'll tell you after.
It's really upsetting that me and Joe do a better show after the show's over. That's the really upsetting thing.
Well, we've been trying to rectify that through employment, but employment has not been cooperative. But continue.
Thomas Greeny, upright runner. I need to see more bend. Unless he wants to just be a blocking tight end at the next level. He kind of looked like Troutman when Troutman got in the open space, which was rarely because he was always pretty well covered because they knew they needed to cover Troutman. But he kind of had that same high knee tight end run that we all know and love, but not like it's not like I'm not skipping around, but it's not like how Marshel Martin's running. They're two different types of tight ends. But Greeny's fine.
By the way, shout out to former Rhode Island tight end Tyler Burke for getting married.
Yes.
I never remembered that.
Is that where you're going to? You're going to his wedding or something?
No. Oh God, you think Burke likes me enough to invite me to his wedding? No, let me tell you, it's nothing like. But I should. Never mind. Last guy in the elite tier before we get to the great tier. I just don't want to air out what I'm doing. Like it's nothing like crazy. I might be over there. I think I'm going to be over there in July.
You text me right now what you're doing.
I am
and just text me right now and I'll tell you whether or not. Just a quick text.
Can I just have a conversation with you after the show? You're making this. It was just a passing comment. I might see Jake Fire, and you're being weird about it. I might see Jake Fire. I'm coming back on the East Coast for July for around July 4th. That's it.
Well, I requested off that weekend, so maybe I won't see you. I guess.
Where are you going?
I'll be here 10 toes down. I requested off Saturday and Sunday and Friday.
Okay.
The second through the first through the third.
Okay. We'll chat after. I just never mind. You're distracting.
Me.
You're distracted from the show. I want to acknowledge quickly Marshel Martin, who's only 6'2", 224. He was graded really highly. The next guy that's in the greats here we have to talk about because he is a bizarre size build. Marshel Martin though has that H-back style play to him, and not like Hunter Lupke, but that's where his value is. This is not a traditional tight end. He is not big enough to play traditional inline tight end.
He is a mismatch problem, though. That's what he is. At least at this level, mismatch problem. If he was playing the SEC, still I think would be a mismatch problem. You're not covering him running backwards. You're not going to be able to. He runs crisp routes when he gets the ball in his hands. He is blazing fast, especially for a tight end. I know we get enamored by the 190-pound wide receivers that are 6'1". Their legs go all the way up to their shoulders. I know we get enamored by that. But you put on some Marshel Martin tape. You watch what he's doing, and you're like, wow, he's 224, all muscle, running through your fucking face. You are going to – that's what he does. He gets me fired up. Again, another apology. He gets me fired up watching him because you're not tackling him on the first go. Unless you throw your whole body at his legs, you're not going to make that tackle. You're just not. You're not going to catch him either. Get juiced up about Martin.
I love that. It's just odd trying to evaluate a guy like that who's a little bit on the smaller profile size, but I mean, he's good enough to be considered to be drafted. And I think some teams are going to see him and think, oh, this is a guy that we can use on special teams. This is somebody that we can plug in.
Somebody can use him. Right. Who am I thinking of? There's a tight end in the NFL.
Delaney Walker was short. Delaney Walker was only 6'1", but Delaney Walker was fast. I would not compare. What
was Delaney Walker was running a 4.5?
Delaney Walker was so fast and so elusive, and he was so unique. The Jaheim Bell from South Carolina, I think, is a better comp for. I think that would be ham-fisted to try.
Delaney Walker, 4.5, 4.49.
Yeah, he was scooting.
6'2".
He was moving. So we're getting into the great tier here, and we've got some names here. Before we get through these names, there's a guy that kind of sits on the outside because he had one of these really high grades from the scouting services that I have access to here. Ryan Miller from Furman is listed as a tight end, and he was somebody who was commented on the feed. I don't think everyone really knows this because you just kind of see a guy on tape and he's like, oh, he's a little smaller. He's listed at 6'1", 209. Now he runs a 4.45. He's a tight end. I'm not a tight end. What does that have to?
I was just saying he was 2 inches taller, just for reference for people. People see you and they say, "Oh,
shut up!" Just who has seen me? Who listens to the show and has seen me?
People see 6'1" Ryan Miller and they can see you and say, "Oh, he is 2 full inches taller than Joe DeLeone."
Ryan Miller, though, it's a hard projection here because he's also too small to consider to be like an H-back. So, like, I just don't know where you project a guy like this. Do you think he's a slot? Because he apparently runs a 4.4 40, which is really fast. And he's playing for a Furman team which doesn't really utilize tight ends as receivers, despite the fact that he had the second most touchdown receptions for a tight end last season with 7.
Let's see this here. Let me just pull up Furman quarterback Jace Wilson 50-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Miller versus Samford. Okay. That's not a tight end.
He's a running back.
Dude, he is trim too. He is a trim tight end. He's got big guns. He's got some pipes. I don't know where you use that guy. Are you looking up what I looked up?
Yeah, I'm looking him up.
All right, look up that play right now. You see the rollout. You see the pass. You see him catch it. He turns upfield like a tight end.
That's a receiver.
He turns upfield like a tight end. That's what he does. He does not cut it up like a wide receiver though.
No, it's like turning a boat. It's not really like
it's like turning a boat
up. It's like,
but he's not slow.
Yeah,
I told you. Yeah, interesting.
Maybe he's like a Traylon Burks kind of like the size profile. That's just bizarre, and I think that you got to draft him to play. He has a draftable grade, which is bizarre. He's a receiver. He is not a tight end. I'm declaring that now. He should have been on the receiver list. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, a receiver that just dapped him up is as tall as him. He's as tall as the running back, shorter than the lineman by a good wide margin. That is an odd choice of position placement, unless they're strictly trying to make mismatches, which I could applaud them for.
Right.
That's what they have to be doing. They have to just say, hey, go up on this slow-ass middle linebacker. We're going to carve him up.
Yeah. Furman's always been one of those undersized programs because they run the triple option. I think that's probably part of it. It's just like a weird lineup thing, I think. I think that's what it is. It's an oddity, and welcome to FCS football and checking measurements for guys. I need to see what Furman has him listed at, and I'm willing to bet
they probably list him at 6'2". If they listed at 6'3",
6'2", 221, which is not true because a verified measurement has him at 6'1".
Get Jesse Fritsch on it. He'll put the boots to them.
We already dug into Jesse Fritsch on the draft prospect show this morning.
Oh wait, what were you saying about Jesse?
He didn't have Christian Mahogany's stats in the database, so we were going in on Jesse.
You say he's just lazy.
Yeah, I mean,
he watches football in the worst. He's got the worst room to watch football in. He's incredibly nice, and I think he does really good work. Love Jesse. But the room where he watches football is the worst I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, you posted that. Yeah.
It's the most poorly lit room. There's a lamp on the floor, and it looks like they're having fun. So I'm not trying to criticize because that's all what watching football is about. Either go completely lights off or turn them all the way up.
I just want the invite to the basement. What do I need to do to get the invite?
I don't think they're in a basement. I think that's main living area lighting.
Oh.
That's what I think.
God, I love this. We haven't heard from Jesse Fritsch in a while. I miss Jesse
rules. He doesn't care about anybody or anything.
Favorite personality on Twitter more than Ryan. The other guys that fit in the great category that I think are a slight separation here. Zach Heinz from South Dakota State, the second tight end for South Dakota State. Derek Klein from San Diego.
You're a hack.
Yeah, I am. Dakota Allen from Eastern Kentucky. Austin Gorig from South Dakota. And then this one's my favorite one to consider. Kamari Everett fits the big boy category. Hashtag big boy. 6'5", 272 is his verified measurement, which is just freaking massive. Not all that fast, as you can imagine, for a player that size.
Oh, it's Kamari Everett.
Is it?
With an A.
Why was the spreadsheet that I have had it with an E.
I understand.
Kamari Everett. Apologize, Kamari. That's my fault. He led all tight ends last year with 939 yards and 10 touchdowns. So justifiably, he deserves to be on this list. Was kind of on the back end of the NFL grades that we have access to, but he is still really freaking dominant. I would argue probably the best. Actually, not probably. He is the best HBCU tight end on this list.
Dude.
We don't have any other HBCU tight ends. It's a stupid statement. He is the best HBCU tight end.
He can go up and get it. I mean, this dude is impressive.
He's got like a tackle build. He's got like an offensive tackle.
He literally, it's an offensive tackle that can jump and run. Yeah, go ahead. beat everybody down the sideline.
It's like Tyron Smith if he lost 30 pounds.
It might be Tyron Smith if he lost 15. Massive thighs.
I love that.
Big calves. Thinner around the ankle, but just run through the safety. He's not going to tackle you. This guy's impressive. Good foot control. He knows how to use his feet. That's really important for a tight end of that size. That is really that's really impressive. Jeez, yeah. Keep an eye out on him. He's obviously their primary receiver, I would say, at Bethune-Cookman. Joe, do we have any?
He's a little slow, but he goes up and gets the football. But
do we have any honorable mentions?
We have one honorable mention that I would just like to hit on because of the oddity that this is. So we actually have a Believe in Big Sky show that is going to be launching really soon. So stay tuned for that. But I was texting back and forth with the host of the show who played at Montana. Shut the hell up.
Sorry.
And he was telling me to check out Cole Grossman. And Ryan had also texted me about Cole Grossman. So he's an honorable mention. I think that the other guys deserve a little bit more recognition. But my man Cole Grossman from Montana is a redshirt sophomore, but is entering his 5th season. He's got the Jake Fire eligibility.
He's on the Qvon Jones plan. I've dropped that too many times on this show.
No one gets it.
Too inside. It's way too inside. I'm sorry, everybody.
For anyone
who was the quarterback from Georgia? He's been playing there for 8 years.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, he's on the Stetson Bennett plan. How about that?
I think the Jake Fire plan is better because
Jake Fire will never play as much as Lorenzo Bryant or Qvon Jones.
That is true. That is very true.
Duration-wise, not playing time-wise.
But this is where we live in the world of COVID. My man was a redshirt freshman last year and was a redshirt freshman All-American and was an honorable mention in the Big Sky. And he was a senior. He is entering his 5th season. He could be there for 8 years if he wanted to.
With COVID eligibility, a red shirt,
and he also had a gray shirt year apparently.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the dumb quarterback? Oh, Brandon Whedon plan. Actually, how about that? I think he graduated college at 28.
He
was drafted at 28.
Well, because you open up with you refer to him as the dum dum.
Oh, Brandon Whedon?
Yeah, he wasn't.
No, Brandon Whedon. Brandon Whedon's not. I think he was like serving in the military or something. Or he had what was it? What did he have?
He got drafted by the Yankees.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, he went to play baseball and he sucked, and then he went to Oklahoma State and played football and he sucked.
Yeah, dumb Brandon Whedon. Then how about that?
Yeah, he was. I think he had one of the worst Wonderlic scores.
Brandon Whedon did.
Yeah, he's got the Blake Bortles energy a little bit. The mouth breather moves his lips when he reads.
Can the Browns get anything right? Can they ever get anything right?
Apparently not. That's a different can of worms. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We have offensive line. Do we want to do tackles and interior on 1 week? What do we think, Sean?
Let's
decide now so everyone has to listen to us talk about it. Something that should not be decided in the middle of a live show.
If it's all offensive line, it's going to be a pretty thick show.
Pun intended.
Tackles is a big money spot, so we could save tackles for one big. But do we split up interior defensive lineman and regular defensive line and outside edge rusher?
Yeah, we're gonna do it that way. But we could do 2 shows next week. We could do it that way.
Sure, we can do tackles and then interior offensive lineman.
Okay,
I like that.
We'll do it that way. Stay tuned for that. We have an interview that needs to be taped, but we'll be dropping with Chattanooga head coach Rusty Wright. That is coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Oh, and drive safe.